when the Trump administration comes to power, I think the Kremlin will see opportunity, depending on how Trump approaches the transatlantic relationship, on how he approaches the significance of NATO and the long-standing U.S. reliance on a transatlantic pillar. Until all of us, not just the United States, but our European allies, wake up to the fact of who and what Russia is, that danger is only going to increase. And this is not just about defense spending. This is about the full range of understanding who and what that threat is. Nobody should be surprised by anything that Mr. Trump does or says. Nations will have to be practical. They'll have to, what's in the best interest of UK? What's in the best interest of Germany? What's in the best interest of Poland? Nations will have to be practical because this is who the American people have elected. I think in Kyiv, they're going to be looking for a relationship with a Trump administration that's invested in helping Ukraine not just survive, but to win. Now, that seems unlikely based on what we've heard from candidate Trump and candidate Vance. It'll be interesting to see who they bring in. I mean, who is put forward as Secretary of State, who's put forward as Secretary of Defense, who will be the National Security Advisor. This will give some indication of direction, and I think that the Ukrainians know that. We keep looking past what's really important, which is what is the strategic outcome that all of us want and need? Why, instead of talking about a deal or negotiation or whatever, why are we not committed to defeating Russia? Because there's not going to ever be peace, not in a long-term permanent sense in Europe or in the region, as long as Russia is rewarded for what it does. And so, if we adopted a strategic approach of helping Ukraine defeat Russia first, that would lead to isolation of Iran. It would lead to isolation of North Korea, and it would send a strong message to China that, yes, of course, the West has the political will as well as the industrial capacity and military capability to do all of those things. Right now, I think the Chinese are watching and they're not so impressed. They will look for, I imagine, any evidence that senior officers who I think they will favor officers who are more willing to do whatever the president wants versus saying, Mr. President, that's not legal. We can't do that. Or I strongly advise we not do this because ... Now, we are bound to carry out by our oath lawful orders. Where it starts getting more challenging is when it's not clearly unlawful, but it starts to break traditions. Like, no American soldier wants to be forced to use to go against American citizens. I mean, that's centuries old tradition. Mark Milley stood up to that and stopped it, which of course is why a lot of Trump supporters think that Mark was a traitor. So I think maybe what I worry about is that as the Trump administration begins to build their team, and who they start selecting to be in the chairman of the Joint Chiefs position or the chief of the Army, the chief of the Navy, et cetera, that they apply some sort of litmus test beyond professional competence and the allegiance to support and defend the Constitution. I would be worried about that, and who would pass a Trump litmus test. So this is something that I think a lot of us will be watching for.